Hi everyone, welcome back on Study Room. So we have discussed everything related to natural vegetation, what are its type and where are its located. Okay, so it's time to study about very interesting topic, wildlife. But before that, we are going to be revising something related to natural vegetation. What is natural vegetation? I know, we have discussed this, but there are few things that we need to understand here. Natural vegetation is anything that is naturally grown, okay, and are part of ecosystem. So, for example, there are two things. The kind of our farmers sow crop. Do you think that is natural vegetation? It is just vegetation. It is naturally grown, but it has human involvement in it, right? Similarly, likewise, there is a space, okay, which is naturally growing, and humans have no involvement in it. For example, forest, and all the things, all the plants, all the trees are naturally growing without human interference. Okay, we called it as virgin vegetation. Okay, and because in this area, in this particular beautiful area, there is no human involvement in it, there is no artificial thing that is involved in it. The species, the kind of species that you will be finding here will be purely Indian species. Okay, now there are two terms that we need to also understand here, and these two terms are exotic species and endemic species. Exotic species are simply that we export from outside India and we get them and we grow them here, are called exotic species. Endemic species are all the species that are grown in India and are Indian species basically, so we call them endemic species. Now, talking about wildlife. India, we have studied how much fauna we have in India, how much flora we have in India. So it's similar that we also have varieties of fauna as well. So let's study. Wildlife in India. So, talking about Indian wildlife, we have more than around 90,000 total species, which has more than variety of more than 2,000 birds and many varieties of fishes we found, and these fishes sum up 12% total percentage of 12% of world stock. Okay, and we also find 5 to 8% mammals in our country. And talking about mammals, largest mammal is elephant, which is found in Assam, Kerala and Karnataka, basically in the hot belts of Karnataka. And we also see in India one-horned rhinoceros. These are found in marshy land of Assam and West Bengal. Next, we also have wild ass, which is found in run of Kutch, and camels, which are seen in Thar Desert and deserted areas. India, the fun fact, not the fun fact, but the very interesting fact and fact to be proud about Indian diversity is that India is one of the sole country in the world where tigers and lions both are present in the same land. Matlab, not in the same land, but differentiated, but in the same country. This is so interesting, right? And the home of Indian lions are mostly in Gir Forest, which is in Gujarat. Tigers are mostly seen in Madhya Pradesh, beautiful Sundarbans, which are in West Bengal and Himalayan region. Talking about birds, so there are more animals which are seen in India as well. Now, talking about migratory birds, during winters, these Siberian cranes come in large numbers in India. Okay, so these are migratory birds. Let's first discuss why these Siberian crane come to India. What are their purpose of coming? So, in Siberia, when it's very very cold during the winters, the environment became unfit for their survival. So they moved downwards from Siberia to India. Pretty bad drawing though. So they moved down in India, and they are mostly seen in Run of Kutch in Gujarat. And another type of migratory bird are flamingo. Okay, so flamingo is also one of the migratory bird which migrates and come to India. Now, apart from birds, there are very small insects that are very important for us. For example, butterflies. They also sometimes we also see some migratory butterflies. These insects are very important because they helps in pollination. Now, the fact that a disturbance in the ecosystem disturbs them too, so the need to conserve them is even more higher today. Okay, so there are about 1300 plant species that are endangered, which means that about to shrink, means their numbers and are very less. Okay, and they are 20 species that have been extinct, which means they are no longer present. There are 20 species that are extinct because of hunting, pollution, deforestation, and these things put a very major threat to wildlife. Okay, so for example, there are koalas that we need to save, tigers that we need to save are in very few numbers left in our country. And like other or like these 20 species who are extinct, these 1300 plants species will one day will become extinct, and we will be sadly no longer be able to see them. So that is why the urge and the need to save them is very high. Now, what are the steps that are being taken by the government to control these things? So first is setup of biosphere reserve. Many biosphere reserve has been set up to protect flora and fauna. Financial and technical assistance has been given to botanical gardens since 1992, so that there will be no in danger of of any kind of species, and more scientific method could be used for gardening. Next, we have released several projects to maintain and balance the eco development. So there are eco developmental projects which are Project Tiger, Project Rhino, Project the Great Indian Bustard, and also Project Flamingo as well. Okay, so these were the projects that were taken in place to protect these animals. Next, to give them a separate and private space where there will be no human disturbance, 103 national parks have been set up, and 535 wildlife sanctuaries and zoological gardens have also been set up. Now we will discuss about wildlife reserves in India. So this is an amazing activity for you all, where you have to guess, where you have to find out in the map, and find out famous national parks. Okay, so let's do this. Talking about national parks, I can see Ranthambore, Tadoba. Tadoba is in Madhya Pradesh, Rajai. So these are famous national parks, and you can also find out some amazing centuries in the given map. All right. So moving on. Now, again, one important activity that we will be discussing here is first, collect information about various endangered species from newspapers and magazines. So, the 1300 species which are endangered, you'll have to collect information related to regarding those species from newspapers and magazines, and study a little bit about them and which are these species who are endangered. Next, find out the steps taken by the government to protect them. Yes, what steps has been taken by the government to protect them? All the projects that we have discovered, all the biospheres, national parks, bird sanctuaries. How can you contribute to the protection of endangered wildlife? Now, that was the job of government that have been taken place on a central level, but how individual human as you and human individual responsible citizen as you can do to contribute to the protection of these endangered wildlife. It can be as basic as promoting on social media or spreading awareness around your friends. So think about how can you as individual can contribute to this cause, because definitely we need to protect them. So this was it about the wildlife. In the coming videos, we will discuss questions, and we will also briefly revise what we have done, important notes of the chapter. Alright, I will see you all in next video.